Hello, everyone on Verbling. My name is Holly, and I will be doing a lesson today on thirsty work. Basically, we'll be talking about whether coffee shops and your work can be combined. So we will be doing a discussion about your job, and then we will do a reading and vocabulary and and also continue doing discussions and talk about vocabulary. So the main topic or main goal of this lesson is for you to learn to comprehend what you're reading, practice pronunciation, practice speaking, and then you'll receive feedback if it is appropriate. My name is Holly, and I am a native English teacher from Idaho in the United States. I've been working with Verbally now for about 3 weeks, and let's see, 3.5 weeks, I guess now. So that is the topic for today. And let's see, let's get the worksheet URL up. So here is the URL for the worksheet, or the link. Okay, and yeah, I hope whoever comes, I am excited to see whoever it is that signed up for this class, and then also there's room for a few more people as well. So it is midnight here in Idaho. I believe it's it is 8 a.m. in Spain. It is about, it's about 3 in the afternoon in Japan, about 2 in the morning in Brazil. And Tatiana, how are you today? Hello, Tatiana. How are you? I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Can hear you.
Okay, now I can hear you.
Ah, really?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Yeah, at first I couldn't, but now I can. Um, yeah, how is everything in Turkey? Hello? I know you're speaking because it comes up, but I did not hear anything.
It's because for internet, maybe.
Possibly. Okay. So the internet is as intermittent. Are you traveling right now?
Today is the sacrifice holiday, sacrifice Kurban Bayram, in Turkey. It's
Uh-huh.
a very important holiday for Muslims.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is it the Eid
Uh-huh.
holiday? Is it the Eid holiday or is it Ramadan? Or is it another one?
Kurban.
Okom? Okay, I'm not familiar with that one, but that's okay. Yeah, I can't hear you very well. Your sound is what we say intermittent, intermittent. Basically, I only hear it a little bit, and then I don't hear it. I hear it a little bit, and then I don't hear it. So, but anyway, there's a holiday season right now in Turkey. And what time is it right now in Turkey? Hello?
I can hear you. Maybe not hear me because some internet can sometimes go out.
Yeah, I think that's it. I just heard you this time, but not every time. So what time is it?
Now 9 and 5.
9. Okay, so it's 5 minutes after 9. Okay,
Yes.
9
Uh-huh.
a.m. Okay, so it's your time zone is kind of like Finland, the Ukraine, Greece.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then I guess because I know it's 8 a.m. in Spain and Germany and France and Italy and that part of Europe. So yeah, we'll see who else comes. It being early morning in Europe and then in South America right now in Brazil it's 1 a.m. and in um, no in Brazil it's 3 a.m. and in Colombia it's 1 a.m. So
Ah, I see.
yeah, so and then in Mexico it's 1 a.m. So a lot of people are asleep. I think this hour, the midnight hour on the weekend it has very few people. So
Ah, uh-huh.
and I think it's why it's always
I'm,
available.
that's
So hello, I'm sorry. Yeah, I can't hear you. Um, I'm gonna write on the Google chat. What did you say? Yeah, I can't hear you. Can't hear you at all.
okay. What's
Oh, now I can hear you. Okay, I heard. Okay, what's? And then I can't hear you after that. I heard, hey, okay, what's? And then I didn't hear anything else.
when you when you can't hear me, you just explain the material. I can listen to you, and then I send you message that
Yeah, that's why I
I
opened
have
up.
a connection.
Exactly. That's why I opened up the group chat so that you can, you don't have to, unless you want to be public in the Verbling chat. That way you can just write it on that one. So that's what I was actually thinking. If
Yeah.
you want to do it that
Yeah.
way, I speak and you write. You can try to
Okay.
speak. I can't hear. So, but let's go ahead and let me show you the material. The topic is actually on coffee shops and work. So it's a work-related topic. Let me show it to you. And okay, so it's called Thirsty Work. Sacrifice Feast. Okay. Okay. And yeah, I'm not familiar with that holiday, but how many holidays do they have in Turkey?
I
Um,
don't know actually because for them are very important holidays, believer holidays.
uh-huh.
Who believes in Allah. For
Mhm.
them, holidays are very important than other government holidays, for example. And
Uh-huh.
this holiday it takes place from ancient time, and this fact was reflected in the Bible.
Uh-huh.
Uh, before Jesus, before Christ, and
Uh-huh.
uh, when one man, uh, it's a legend, it's a
Uh-huh.
legend.
Okay.
Maybe it's a real fact when God wants to uh, check control if this person trusts him and believe in him, and he said, please give me your son and kill him, and I be sure that you believe in me. And man hesitated a lot, but then he brought his son, and when he just raised the knife above his throat, God said, stop, I believe that you really trust me and believe in me, and after that only sheep you need to cut.
Yeah. So that's actually the
Yeah.
story of Abraham and Isaac.
Yeah. And after that, this is the famous holiday in Turkey nowadays.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Yeah, no, I've heard that story all my life, but I didn't know there was a holiday from it. So that's really cool. Good morning, Araceli. You were up early.
Yes, hello. How are you?
Hello.
That's so early.
Yeah, and Tatiana, for a while I wasn't able to understand her, and then her internet started working. So awesome. So yeah, so 8 a.m. now
Yes,
in
it's 8 a.m. in Spain, yes.
yeah. Okay, awesome. And it's midnight here, and I did it again. Last Sunday I did the same thing. This Sunday I'm teaching through the night. I don't know why I did. So.
You have to be careful when you book your classes.
Well, I don't think I was thinking, and then I actually I didn't book them all at the same time. I saw like the ones that are 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. I just booked them like 2-3 days ago because I saw that they had been canceled by somebody, and so it wasn't I had planned not to do it, but then I just decided to. So anyway, let's talk about these words. So think about the place where you work or where you have worked, and talk about how suitable it is for you for the work that you do. So first of all, Tatiana, right now are you working right now, or are you not working?
Pardon?
Do you have a job right now, or are you?
No. I haven't got a job right now.
Oh, you okay, but so you can think about maybe a past job.
Okay.
Okay, and Artheli, are you still teaching at a school?
Yes.
Okay, so you talk to us about convenience of the location of your job. Is that important for you as far as the location?
Okay. I think the location is very important because if your work place near your house, you didn't take a bus and pay money for road, for bus, for vehicles,
Uh-huh.
and I think it's very important, especially when for example, traffic jam or
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah.
weather problem.
Uh-huh. Yeah, traffic jam and weather, so it's very important to keep the commute time short, if possible.
I
Especially when people a very very big city and he lives in one end of the city and his work is another end of the city. It's very very difficult.
Okay, Araceli, what do you think?
yes, the commute time is really important for me.
Uh-huh.
I think I told you every year we change our school and we
Uh-huh.
don't know what school are we going to work, and sometimes you have to maybe drive for more than an hour to get to your
Wow.
school. So for me, this is really important.
Uh-huh.
And this year I'm quite near from my house. I just drive for 20 minutes.
Uh-huh.
So I'm happy, but yes, I give a high importance to this
Uh-huh.
because if I have to go so far, for example, with my children, I have a
Uh-huh.
problem because I
Uh-huh.
have to leave them at school really early in the morning.
Yeah.
Or I have to find some employee to take care of my children because I can't pick them up when they go up go out
Uh-huh.
from school. So it's really important if you have a family that the location of your work of your job is good.
Mhm.
I think that is money too. It's a lot of money you spend and gasoline
Yeah.
and time you don't have. So
Yeah.
I will choose a worse paid work job if it was nearest to
Mhm.
my house.
Near your house, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I feel the same way. When when I stopped for the last year, from July till July, I was commuting. I was driving 45 minutes a day, and it's so a lot of people commute more than that, but I've saved about $400 a month by not commuting.
Yes, if you have a lot to spend in your car or everything, or maybe
Yeah,
here people say you can use public transportation, but yes, that would be okay. But it makes the trip even longer.
yeah,
And if you have to, to take children to school and all that, it will be
yeah.
almost impossible.
Exactly. I mean, the purpose of public transportation is to make your commute easier and to shorten the commute. So if you're in a situation where it would take longer, it doesn't make sense to use public transportation. So,
Well, it makes sense because it's cheaper and
well,
you don't have
cheaper,
to
yeah.
drive. You
Yeah.
can relax, read a book. If you have to drive for an hour and a half to work every day, it's
hmm
really, I think you when you arrive to work, you are tired
When you,
of driving.
yeah, so when yeah, so that's true. When you arrive at work, it's instead of to work, you can say arrive at work. Um, yeah, I was always very tired driving in. It's like, oh. Plus, I'm not very good at going to bed at night, as you know, and
Mm.
so I would be up till 12, 1, maybe 1:30, and then I'd have to get up at 5 to leave at 6 to get to work by 7:30, you know. And then in the winter time, it was yeah, not fun. So um, yeah.
So, so you have the perfect job now. You don't have to commute.
Oh yeah, I mean, I actually had to think about it because, I was one of the uh, well, I was one of the kind of the first teachers, the pioneers in the beginning back in 2006, and then I stopped teaching online for several years, except for 1 or 2 hours every once in a while, and so I had to think, okay, do I want to go back into teaching online, or do I want to continue this commute? And it was actually, it took about probably 3 or 4 days, and it was like, no, I know what I want to do. I want to go back to my old life. So, um, how important is interaction with colleagues in your job?
I think in every job it's quite important to have a
Mhm.
good relation with your colleagues.
Yeah.
And also, if you are not in good relation with your boss, with your colleagues, probably you are not going to feel okay at work, and things are not going to develop correctly. So
Mhm.
I think it's really important.
Mhm.
But in my job, sometimes I don't have too much contact with colleagues. But
Yeah.
but
I,
we are complaining about that a lot. We meet in the break in the cafeteria and say
uh-huh.
we don't have time to talk, and because
Uh-huh.
we feel isolated sometimes.
Uh-huh.
Everyone in his or her
Yeah.
classroom.
Do you have a
So I think
teacher's
it's
room?
important. Yes, we do have a teacher room, and we also have for each subject we have our department,
Mhm.
and we have scheduled meetings weekly. But I mean, it's most of the time we work with students and not
Uh-huh.
with
Yeah.
coworkers. It's different in other jobs.
Yeah, and it's actually, I mean, I remember working the last job I was at before I started teaching again. I was with a department of about 40 teachers.
Wow.
Um, yeah, and what we were doing is we were training, we were onboarding, excuse me, 1,600 people. This was a year ago now. We were hiring 1,600 people to work in a project. So we were doing the training and the initial training for all these people. And we spent 3 months together training together as a group. And then after we got our classes, we never saw each other because we were with our classes. And we were I was told that there would be months would go by before I saw other trainers, and it was really true. I was really surprised about that. Where in the when I have always taught languages, even though I've always taught corporate, in more or less most of my English teaching jobs have been in language schools where I've gone and traveled to different companies. And even then I didn't see my colleagues all that much, but when we were prepping, we were in the teacher's room. So you would run into some of the same ones and stuff. So how do you think, like in my situation, what is your personal opinion about people who are teaching online or doing work online? How are they able to interact with colleagues?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's hard because most of the time when you are in an office, it's not something you plan to interact with your colleagues. They are just near and you share things. For example, you can maybe talk to another colleagues through the but you have to schedule that.
Yeah.
If you make a hang up, you can talk to anyone.
Yeah.
For example, unless you're at home. But are you going to say, well, I'll speak to my colleagues for 20 minutes to share things, but maybe you are not going to do that. So I feel it's more easy. It's easier when you're in an office or in a school and you just see people in the hall or wherever.
Yeah, we call that a brick and mortar school. So the type of school that you're working, it's a brick and mortar school, and then Verbling is an online school.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah, so like in your situation, it's actually easier to interact with colleagues. I was on a, are you familiar with forums? What a forum is online?
Yes.
So there's an English teaching forum, and somebody wrote a question and said, I would like to start teaching online, but I don't know how to do it. And so I wrote up a little answer. I answered and I gave them the rule. I wrote the rules of thumb. Rules of thumb for teaching online, and one of them I wrote was because there's no interaction with colleagues, you need to make sure that you are actually around people, but also networking. And so I gave them several websites where he or she, whoever that was, could go and network with other teachers who are also teaching online, so that there would be that kind of the same type of camaraderie that brick and mortar school teachers or traditional teachers have in a teacher's room, the online teachers could have. And because otherwise it can be very isolating. And but that's one of the things that I told them, because it is really difficult when you work at home and stuff like that. But like I don't have any. In this kind of job, when you're talking to students all the time and teaching, you don't feel isolated from people, but there's no interaction with actual colleagues. So
well, I think it's not the same thing because you need, I'm talking to my students all day, but exactly. It's not the same thing because sometimes you for example, if you have a problem, you say, I had a problem with this student, and in this class they were doing like that, and a colleague says, I experienced the same thing, and this is how I faced that. So for me, it feels real good. For example, if you are going to have a lot of trouble a class and everyone is having trouble, you can act at the same time and do the same things, so you feel
Exactly.
supported. But if you are alone, you don't. Well, I think it's not the same in Berlin because I
Well,
suppose
verbally, it's
you
all
don't.
adults.
Yeah, you don't face the same situations, but
Yeah.
anyway, maybe it will be easier for you to talk about between all. I was wondering yesterday about that. Do you really talk to other Berlin teachers about?
Um, well, I actually have talked to. I haven't met any of them. I don't. They might have meetups, online meetups, but I'm new enough that I don't know about that. But the person that told me about Verbling, do you know Chad?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, Chad was a he was. Long story short, we worked together on another project, um, and so he told me about Verbling, and so I've talked to him a bit about Verbling, and I remember actually this time it was a sorry, Alpo has not been here for 3 days, and he's come back, and now he's wanting attention, so sorry about that.
Oh, don't worry.
um, that's why I always introduce Alpo, because of his noise. But um, I've talked to him about Verbling, and the first class that I ever scheduled was at this exact time. It was midnight on Sunday morning, and he was the one that actually said, "Oh, that's a small classes. Very few people go." So
Yeah, yeah. It depends on the time. At this time, there are no more many people. I think
yeah,
it's because of the mhm, well, of the countries. I believe there
yeah,
are maybe some Japanese or people because for most of the people in America they are sleeping,
yeah.
and in
So
Europe is early and maybe we are at
a
work or
weekend. It's
yeah today yeah, but people in weekends try to sleep. I don't know.
exactly. So people sleep in
So,
on and then in South America, where there's a lot of people, they um they're asleep now. So it would be Asia, and may of course some Europeans that get up in the morning, but that would be it. So I'm thinking that I was telling another class we were talking about Verbling, and I think that eventually that we're going to have a lot more Asians here when they hear about this format and so forth, and because there's so many Asians studying English and stuff, and then this hour would be probably full of different, some Europeans and some Asians, as opposed to where most of the time the Verbling classes are Asians and South Americans, and not Asians, Europeans and South Americans, but
there are not so many Asian. There are a few, but not too many people, I
yeah,
think.
not yet. I think that word of mouth will. Do you know that word, word of mouth?
No.
This is a type of advertising. It's called word of mouth advertising, and a lot of companies. It's actually one of the best methods to grow a company is to use word of mouth, and that's where, say for example, you run into a friend and your friend's telling you that she needs to maybe she wants to get promoted in her job, but she needs to learn English, and you go, oh, I'm using Verbling, and so you tell your friend all about Verbling, and she
Mm.
comes, and that's word of mouth advertising.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
I think it's the best way to do because if
Uh-huh.
I have a personal opinion about this. If someone recommends you a product or like Beverly or something like that,
Uh-huh.
uh, if you mean I mean if he's a friend or something,
Uh-huh.
probably has no interest in recommend personal interest in recommending that, so he uh, really thinks it's good. But if you advertise on the TV, on the media,
Uh-huh.
of course you know what they are trying to attract you, and maybe they are lying or trying
Uh-huh. Yeah,
to divide
exactly.
you. So it's the best way, I think, because you
Uh-huh.
trust the people who recommends, and so you have a different attitude. I have
Mhm.
actually recommended Berlin to some of my colleagues because
Have
it's
you?
Yeah, but they are maybe people are about the online teaching. They're not very. They are like suspicious. They don't trust this.
Yeah,
They are not.
they're
But
hesitant.
yeah,
Yeah,
but they are going to pay a lot of money to attend presential classes.
yeah, and
But
and imagine what it was like 10 years ago.
yes, in fact, I really was not sure about the online classes. I had
Uh-huh,
people told me about that, and I was not sure. But in my case, it was something I had to try because
uh-huh,
for example, I'm not able to go in the evenings to a language school because I had
uh-huh.
to take care of my kids.
Kids, uh-huh,
So it was really hard for me, and the money
uh-huh,
also here it's really really very expensive.
uh-huh,
English classes, maybe you can pay 80, $100, 100 euros, sorry, that are
uh-huh,
more than dollars a month, and then you can go to classes for 2, 3 hours a week.
uh-huh.
So I was thinking I can pay much less in Berlin, and I can join whatever classes I want, and also I can choose the time. That was
Uh-huh.
the the most important thing for me. So,
Exactly.
but it's unbelievable that maybe you are going to pay, I don't know, 10 times for the same class, or
Uh-huh.
just because you don't trust technology. I want to see the
Yeah.
teacher's face, or just what? What's the difference in fact?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And of course there are yeah, Google Hangouts doesn't let you show the teacher's face and screen share at the same time, but there are places where you can. And this is the first time I've ever actually taught this much where you guys have my students have not seen me and stuff like that. But when online training first came out back in 2000, but when Skype started and stuff like that about 10 years ago, um, people were a lot more hesitant, and I took a few years off from teaching full time, and now I've come back and I'm like, wow, this is awesome. So welcome, Ake. Is your internet stable now? Ake, are you there?
maybe he's loading, I don't know.
Maybe it's loading again. Yeah. So yeah, because that's why Tatiana ended up leaving too. She was having trouble with her internet and so forth.
Mm.
But I just realized the Verbling chat is not up. Okay, there. Oh, he wrote BRB. He wrote be right back. Okay. Um, so that's why he hasn't responded. But anyway, let's go to the next one. We might end up
Okay.
the whole class in this warm up.
Yes. That's something happen. Is something that happens to me sometimes. I go into a class and my students start talking to me, and they, okay, you just want to spend all the class talking. You have to work.
Yeah, and I mean, I mean, thankfully this is English, and so when you're talking, even when I'm not, if I'm not correcting you, you are, you're developing your fluency, right? And
Yes.
and so I've always thought, well, it doesn't really matter what we're talking about as long as we're talking, as long as you're talking. So, um,
Yes. Yes.
but okay, so distractions, interruptions, and noise. When it comes to your work, is it important?
Yes, I suppose it's important because you have to concentrate and you have to keep people attention. So yes, I think
Uh-huh.
it's important.
Yeah.
Here in Berlin also it's very important because sometimes we have a lot of noise and it's
Uh-huh.
difficult to focus.
Yeah. I think it was, I don't know when it was. Probably it was when you were asleep. I had a class, somebody from two people from Spain and one person from Colombia. And were you? No, no, it was not you. And so it wasn't when you were asleep. So,
Yes,
but
because
anyway,
they
it was last
was
night.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't join classes in the evening because I'm
Yeah.
usually with my kids. But
Yeah.
it's
Exactly.
funny, it's people join in the evening here.
Evening. Yeah. Yeah. So it was last night, your time, and I decided, since they were all Spanish speakers, to ask them about the pronunciation of my nephew's name, how it would be actually pronounced in Spanish, because my nephew and my nephew, all three of them were adopted, and they have Mexican American. They're Mexican American, and so we kept their name as Mexican American or Spanish names to honor their heritage. And Elias heard me say their name, and he opened the door, walked in, sat on my lap. And so I actually put my I put on the camera, put my headset on, and let him talk to my students. They didn't understand him, so but normally the kids and the dog are not allowed in here, because it's important to be really focused and not to have any interruptions or distractions or noise or anything. So, but little boy heard his name, so he had to come in. So, but yeah, they changed Elias. We know that in English it's Elias, and in Spanish it's Elias.
Yes.
But it was the other boy's name, which is Isaiah. They had kind of changed it. They had spelled the original family. He was born, but they had spelled it like this at first, and so my sister and her husband changed it to this because they liked it, but there are fewer people with that name. So I was asking, do you guys actually say the initial S, the end S? Do you say Isaiah, or do you say Isaiah?
We say Isaías.
Isaiah. That's what they told me. Yeah. So Isaiah, and so we asked him if he wants to be called Isaiah, and he said no. So we call him Isaiah. Isaiah is what we're calling him, but anyway, Elias heard that. He's like, but you really shouldn't have distractions and like that. So,
how old is Elias?
Elias and Isaiah are both 5.
Okay.
Yeah, and they came into care, into foster care when they were 6 months old, and then when they were 3, my sister and her husband adopted them. So they've actually been here most of their lives and stuff like that. But it's very important for us to honor their heritage and their family and so forth. So we're going to make sure that they know Spanish and so forth, and in this area also, and talk about distractions. So, okay, facilities. How important in your school are the facilities? That's going to be computers, machines, meeting rooms, canteen, water cooler, etc.
I think they are important. As we have said before, we need a common place like the teacher room, and we also use technology like not only laptops or computers, but also this, I don't know the word for this in English, this thing that is projecting a computer's image on the wall or on a...
That's a data projector.
Okay.
Or it also could be a whiteboard, depending on how you use it. Data projector comes from basically you attach it to your computer, and you put on like PowerPoints or whatever, and then there's the whiteboard where students can go and actually write on it. But it's digital.
Yes, we call it a digital board. Is that?
I haven't heard the digital board. I've only heard whiteboard, but keep in mind, I've actually never seen one, so I've only heard about it.
They are not so useful. I've seen them, and I use the data projector. Usually, I use the laptop, but I was using the whiteboard sometimes. But okay, they can go and write on something on the board, but It's not. You can write it on your laptop keyboard. It's not
Yeah.
so much of a difference, and it's a very expensive material.
Yeah, and well, I taught for first of all, it's can you say projector?
Projector.
Projector, yeah, projector. I taught for 4 years, about 2 or 3 hours a week. I taught at a sixth form high school or sixth form college in Finland, and so that's why I know about the teacher's room and stuff. And it was just a few hours a week, and they had a whiteboard, but I didn't know how to use it. So, Ake, are you back? Yes, you're back. Welcome.
Yes, hello, how are you?
Very good, very good. I'm sorry, you get two teachers talking. She's a
Ah,
math teacher. I'm an English teacher. So,
Yes.
talk to us about your job. How important are the facilities and the equipment and things like that in your job?
The graduate school facility kind of the desk. My graduate school yeah, but not all. Some students can get a desk, but some other cannot have a desk, their
Okay.
own desk to
Uh-huh.
study.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, it's kind of rotary. We have to apply the rotary. And
Really?
my former graduate school does have a it's a small graduate school, so it has a kind of school and desk and room, small room,
Mm-hmm.
small shared room for all students.
Mm.
So maybe and computer laboratory. Computer laboratory is important because nowadays computer
Mm-hmm.
used a lot of things. So
Okay.
and library is necessary.
Excuse me?
Library.
Uh-huh. That's
But
very important.
yeah, campus. My my graduate school moved from old campus to new campus, so
Mm-hmm.
atmosphere changed completely. New campus, the atmosphere is good, clean, new, but
Mm-hmm.
problem is the location. Old campus is
Uh-huh.
almost in the city center. It has a good, excellent connection to of sub. Just underground, we can get on the subway or so, but
Uh-huh.
new campus is in a isolated location, so people
Oh,
supposed
wow.
to commute there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how much time do you actually spend on campus?
Oh, 1.5 hour.
A day?
Mm. Oh, yeah, but I
Or
don't have to go there every day, so
oh,
but
okay.
yeah.
So, because is your are you at do you take classes or is it independent study?
Classes, but not so many classes, and independent study. So,
Okay. Yeah, because
mm,
I know that some graduate programs are a lot of independent study, and then some are,
mm,
my graduate program, it was I was going to 5, 6 classes a day. So,
yeah, that's right. It's up to
yeah.
the yeah.
Are are you working on your PhD or your master's?
Now PhD.
Okay, that's why it's independent
So
study.
yeah, yes.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, but a master degree require more classes.
Yes,
Yes.
definitely. Yeah, I considered getting my master's degree,
Mhm.
and I talked to my what is it, my basically the professor who mentored me, and she's now a professor in Asia actually, and
Mhm.
she said, Holly, don't get a PhD unless you want to teach in university, and she knew I didn't want to do that, so.
Mhm.
But anyway,
Mhm.
hopefully, maybe we'll have time to do this reading. So there's a reading about the coffee shop as an office. It says coffee shops are the unofficial offices of an army of modern workers thanks to free Wi-Fi and caffeine on tap. Do you guys know what on tap means?
Mhm.
Arathali, any idea?
No. Mm, no. Ah, well, I suppose a tap is like where you open and water comes out, and maybe
Uh-huh.
like meaning every on demand. You just ask for that and you have. Is that the meaning?
That's pretty much what it more or less is. Yeah. Um, I mean, when I think of, let me show you. This is what I think of on tap. So I don't even think of coffee this way. So this is on tap. So I think of when you go to a pub, you get um, the beer on tap. So coffee the same way basically is what this is saying. So it's basically caffeine or caffeine on demand. So why don't we read it this way, and why don't we go with let's see, Arthali, you can read the odd numbers, and okay, you can read the even. Now, Arthali, since you were an since you are a math student, a math teacher, do you know what odd and even numbers are?
I always confuse. Yes.
Okay.
Odd are 2, 4, or
No, okay, it's 1, 3, 5,
okay.
and even is 2, 4, 6,
Wow. Okay.
etc. Okay, so you have heard it before, you just confuse it. Have you heard this before? Okay.
Yes, odd and
Okay.
even. Yes.
Okay, good. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and read that. So Araceli, odd, and okay, even, and hopefully we can get through this. Okay?
Okay. The bond between cafe and work is strong. For a long time, it has been the traditional drink for employees in offices. Workers who drink coffee have alert brains and are ready to deal with the tasks of the day.
Do you believe that? Are their brains really alert because of coffee?
I suppose I need coffee, but maybe if you are an addict to caffeine, I think that happens to everybody, to many people who are drinking coffee daily. The difference is you are normal if you have coffee. If you don't have coffee, you are under your natural level of alertness.
Okay. Okay. All right, let's go. Okay, can you read 2?
The first company to allow employees a coffee break with American chair manufacturer Bracklanger in 1902. Since that time, coffee has become an important part of the working day. The drink is so important that in the past, workers even threatened to strike when bosses tried to stop their coffee breaks, as happened at Chrysler in 1964.
Okay, so Barcalounger
Bracklanger,
in 1902.
1902.
Yeah, 1902. Good. Okay. Okay. And any words? Let's go on. Number 3.
Today there are around 10,000 coffee shops in the UK in a market worth about £5 billion, and the number of them is growing. People do work in coffee shops, attracted by the free Wi-Fi that many now offer. Since the start of the recession, they have become a safe place for the self-employed.
Huh. Okay. Safe place. Does everybody know these words?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Freelance writer Louisa Gregson says, working from home has many advantages, but it can be an alienating experience. Although you can avoid office politics, you lose the daily interaction of working with others. Laptops and coffees have combined rather well. It seems, although a noisy coffee shop may appear to be a distraction and suitable only for those who want a change of scenery for a few hours, they can make people work harder. There is some feeling that you are on public show. You have made a trip to the coffee shop in order to work. So you feel that it is your duty to focus. says academic and writer Kathy Hume. You can be unexpectedly more focused than at home.
Yeah, because you're actually there to work. I've actually taught English from. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I've taught English from a McDonald's before because of the free Wi-Fi.
Mhm. Some people,
Wow. But
the,
Yeah.
everybody's can see you. I wouldn't feel comfortable. Everybody looking
Yeah.
at you.
Well,
up,
it was in Finland and it was isolated. It was in the morning, and there were very few people there. And I actually studied Finnish there too. My Finnish teacher met me online.
yeah, many freelance worker, working style nowadays are like that.
Uh-huh.
In the coffee shop or McDonald's with free Wi-Fi,
Uh-huh.
and they are called nomad workers.
Nomad
Nomad,
workers.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it is English or not, but
Yeah. Well, I've actually thought about I have a scheme. Anyway, ask me about the scheme after we finish reading this. So, or another time. Okay, number 5. Um, Araceli.
Instead of discouraging people from using their tables for long periods of the day, some coffee shops invite this behavior. Costa Coffee in the UK offers free Wi-Fi in branches where it feels people will want to work. The company believes the coffee shop environment is more formal and professional than using a home office. There are no strict rules to working in a Costa, although we appreciate if customers buy products from our
Store.
stores while using our facilities, says Kevin Heights, head of UK marketing. Uh, S- S- Starbucks responded to falling sales a few years ago by redesigning some of its shops to better cater for business users. At its Conduit Street branch in London, customers frequently hold meetings, interviews, and business lunches. During the week, the downstairs area of the branch is usually a sea of laptops.
Wow. So do you guys know what cater to something means?
To provide food.
Actually, yeah, they're providing for a specific market, which is in this respect business users. So yeah. Okay. Okay.
Sorry, a question. What's the meaning of branch here?
Um,
The branch is it
During
appears.
the area of the branch is usually a C of T. Okay. In this respect, a branch is a lot of companies will have. They'll say that their local offices or their like this respect it's their local Starbucks is called a branch. A best example is banks. You have the bank that has the headquarters, and then they have different small bank offices around the country, and each of those offices is a different branch.
Okay.
So I've never heard Starbucks be used that way, but okay.
we've seen a big increase in the number of people using the internet in our stores to research and write books and start their own businesses, says Brian Waring, Starbucks, Vice President of Marketing and Category.
Yeah. Okay. And next one.
Recently, however, some American cafes have started to complain. The trend of working at holding business meetings in coffee shops emerged in the late 1990s in the US. Americans have got used to turning up at a cafe, ordering a coffee and opening up their laptops. Squeezed by the recession and noticing that some customers were buying a single coffee and then using up space and power, more and more independent cafes have begun to rethink their strategy.
Really? Okay. Well, that's too bad. um, okay.
I've heard all the negatives: freeloaders, rent-free office space, free internet, customers sitting for hours with one cup of coffee, and so on. These things are true, but are they necessarily negative? Ask Janice Politino, owner of Nader's Cafe in Brooklyn.
Okay.
Getting the right working environment is not easy. Coffee shops can be good places for meetings, but only if there's the right level of noise. Too noisy and it's unprofessional. Too quiet and you feel very conspicuous, says Judy Hemisley, who runs the website workfromhomewisdom.com.
Okay. So conspicuous or conspicuous is how we say it. Any idea what conspicuous would mean?
No.
Okay. So we have a new word for you all. Yay! It's hard when you get to a certain level of what it would be. Okay, conspicuous is very noticeable, attracting attention. So that's what this word means, is conspicuous. Ask me another time about my scheme. I have a scheme for working this type of job and traveling. So it looks like we're running out of time. The plan is to finish this, but I don't think we have time. Let me give you the link for this so that you can study on your own. But conspicuous is very noticeable and attracting attention. Were there any other words in this that you did not know?
Turning up?
To turn up means to come.
To show up?
To show up, yeah. To turn up means to show up. Like for example, here at Verbling, we see that a certain number of students have booked our lessons, but we actually don't know who's actually going to show up or who's going to turn up.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. Any other words? Okay. I need to stop. So I have another class right after this. So the next class is on shopping and how the the consumer has changed the way that we handle shopping. So I hope you guys learned a little bit and got a chance to just practice English. Araceli, you got to talk a lot more. So
Yes.
thank you very much, and you guys have a wonderful day if I don't see you later. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you.